Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins All World, coin lovers. If you're a collector or just a fan of rare and valuable coins, you're in for a treat today. We're diving into the world of the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1966. This seemingly ordinary coin might not seem like much at first glance, but don't be fooled, it has a fascinating story behind it, and some of these pennies are worth thousands of dollars. That's right. What you might think of as a humble penny could be worth a fortune. Let's start by taking a trip back in time to 1966. The United States was in the midst of a period of significant change. The Vietnam War was ongoing, and the country was experiencing a time of great social and political upheaval. It was during this era that the U.S. Mint produced the iconic Lincoln wheat penny. But while 1966 pennies were widely circulated, they're actually a lot rarer and more valuable than you might imagine. So, what makes this coin stand out among others? The Lincoln penny, first minted in 1909, was originally designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. It features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, symbolizing his important role in U.S. history. The reverse side, typically displaying two stalks of wheat, reflects the agricultural backbone of the American economy during Lincoln's era. These features remain on the Lincoln penny until today, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Now, let's focus on the 1966 Lincoln penny. This coin was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing millions of pennies each year. The production of the 1966 penny was no exception. Millions of these coins were struck, meaning that they were widely circulated and used for everyday transactions. But here's the kicker: most of the 1966 pennies that were released into circulation over the years have been worn down, damaged, or lost. So finding one in exceptional condition, particularly one that has remained almost uncirculated, is quite rare. And when that happens, collectors take notice. What really makes the 1966 Lincoln penny so desirable, though, are the subtle but significant errors and varieties that appeared during its production. A number of 1966 pennies were struck with noticeable flaws, making them even more attractive to collectors who are on the lookout for rare, misprinted coins. These errors can include everything from misaligned dies to overpolished areas, resulting in what are called double dies or repunched mint marks. These types of minting mistakes are extremely rare and can cause the value of the coin to soar, especially when the mistake is particularly striking or unusual. For example, some 1966 pennies exhibit the famous double die error, where the image of Abraham Lincoln or the date appears to be slightly doubled. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin was misaligned during the production process, leading to a noticeable duplication of the design. This error is very coveted by collectors, as it's often a sign of a rare production mistake that only a handful of coins exhibit. If you're lucky enough to find a 1966 penny with this error, its value could be significantly higher than a standard issue penny. Another type of error that can increase the value of a 1966 penny is the presence of a misaligned or repunched mint mark. Some of these pennies were struck with a mint mark that was unintentionally repunched, causing a noticeable overlap or misplacement of the letter. These errors can dramatically increase the rarity and value of the coin. Collectors have been known to pay a premium for pennies with such misaligned mint marks, as they are often considered more one-of-a-kind. Now, you might be wondering, how much could a 1966 Lincoln penny with an error or in mint condition really be worth? Well, it's not uncommon for these coins to fetch prices that would make any coin enthusiast's jaw drop. While a typical 1966 Lincoln penny in average circulated condition might only be worth a few cents or $1, a coin with a rare error or in pristine uncirculated condition can be worth much, much more. Some of these error coins have been sold at auction for up to $38,000. Yes, you heard that right, $38,000 for a single 1966 Lincoln penny. This is a price that reflects not only the rarity of the coin but also its appeal to collectors who are looking for that special, unique addition to their collection. So, if you happen to have a 1966 Lincoln penny lying around in your collection or hidden away in a jar, it might just be time to take a closer look. Examine the coin for any signs of error or unusual features, and if you think you found something rare, it might be worth getting it professionally graded to see just how much it could be worth. With the right combination of rarity, condition, and an error or two, your 1966 Lincoln penny could turn into a small fortune. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American history, the 1957 Lincoln penny. This coin, often overlooked in the world of collecting, holds incredible value and is more than just a simple piece of currency. Whether you're a seasoned collector or new to the hobby, this video will definitely spark your interest as we explore the rarity and the hidden potential that a 1957 Lincoln penny could have, especially if you happen to stumble upon one in exceptional condition or with rare minting errors. Let's set the stage. The year is 1957. The United States is entering a time of great change. The post-World War II era is in full swing, and the country is experiencing a booming economy, with the birth of rock and roll, the dawn of the space age, and the rise of consumer culture. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies as part of the regular currency circulation. These pennies, featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, have been a staple of American currency since their introduction in 1909. But here's the kicker: while 1957 might seem like just another year in the long history of the Lincoln penny, this coin has a unique place in numismatic history. It's a coin that was produced during a transitional time in U.S. currency, and over the years, certain errors and conditions have made it far more valuable than you might expect. The Lincoln penny, as many of you know, has one of the most recognizable designs in U.S. coinage. On the obverse side, we see the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, one of America's greatest leaders, whose image has graced the penny for over a century. The reverse side traditionally features two stalks of wheat, a symbol of the country's agricultural past. These wheat pennies were produced from 1909 until 1958, when the design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design. Now, let's focus on the 1957 Lincoln penny specifically. What makes it stand out in the world of numismatics? The truth is, there's not much about this coin that screams rare at first glance. After all, millions of them were produced. However, the real value lies in the condition and potential errors found in a small percentage of these coins. While many 1957 pennies circulated widely, some were struck with rare mistakes or were kept in pristine condition, making them incredibly valuable to collectors. One of the most coveted varieties of the 1957 Lincoln penny comes from the minting errors that occurred during production. The most famous of these errors is the double die variety. A double die occurs when a coin is struck twice, leading to a doubled image of certain details on the coin, like Lincoln's face or the date. These coins are highly sought after by collectors because they're so rare and visually striking. If you happen to have a 1957 Lincoln penny with this type of error, you could be holding onto something very special. There are also other types of errors to look out for on the 1957 penny. One such error involves repunched mint marks. These are coins that were struck with a mint mark that was misaligned or incorrectly punched during the minting process, resulting in a mint mark that appears to be repunched. This type of mistake makes the coin more desirable to collectors, as it's a unique feature that sets it apart from other coins. So, what kind of value can these error coins hold? Well, the 1957 Lincoln penny with a double die or repunched mint mark can be worth a significant amount of money, especially if it's in great condition. In fact, some of these error coins have been sold for astronomical amounts. A well-preserved 1957 penny with these rare mistakes can fetch prices upwards of $39,500. Yes, you heard that right, $39,500 for a single penny. But even without errors, a 1957 Lincoln penny in mint or near mint condition can also command a premium. As you can imagine, over time, most of these pennies were worn down from circulation. Finding one that's still in great shape, with sharp details and no signs of heavy wear, is a real treat for collectors. These well-preserved coins can still fetch several $100s, depending on the specific condition. What makes this penny even more intriguing is that the 1957 Lincoln penny, particularly those minted in 1957, the Denver Mint, has become a prized item for those looking to complete their collections of Lincoln wheat pennies. The sheer number of collectors seeking out these pennies has contributed to the higher demand and value of the coin, especially those that show off the historical charm of an earlier era in U.S. coinage. Now, you might be wondering how you can identify whether you have one of these rare 1957 pennies in your own collection. The key is examining the coin closely for signs of error, such as double details or misaligned mint marks. A magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe is a must for getting up close and personal with these small details. If you happen to find a 1957 penny that shows any of these errors, it could be worth getting it professionally graded to confirm its rarity and value. If you don't have any of these rare errors, don't be discouraged. Even a standard, well-preserved 1957 Lincoln penny is still an attractive and valuable coin for any collection. It's always a good idea to keep an eye out for well-maintained examples, especially those that have remained in excellent condition over the years. In conclusion, the 1957 Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin from the past, but its rarity, potential for errors, and collector demand make it a sought-after piece in the world of numismatics. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to explore the world of rare coins, the 1957 penny could be a hidden gem in your collection. Today, we're diving into a hidden treasure from the 1980s that could be sitting in your collection or even your spare change, the 1980 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it might seem like just another penny from the 1980s, but trust me, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The Lincoln penny, introduced in 1909, has been a staple in U.S. coinage for over a century, but it's the 1980 version of this classic coin that has started turning heads in the numismatic world. While millions of these pennies were minted, a few key factors have made some 1980 Lincoln pennies incredibly valuable today. So, let's take a closer look at why this penny is worth far more than just 1 cent, and how you could be holding on to a rare gem without even knowing it. Before we talk about the specific value of this coin, let's first take a moment to understand the context of the 1980 Lincoln penny. By 1980, the U.S. was in the middle of an economic shift. The country was battling inflation and the economic challenges of the late 70s and early 80s. Despite these turbulent times, the U.S. Mint continued to produce a steady stream of Lincoln pennies, including the 1980 version, which features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. However, what really makes this penny stand out in the world of collectors is the fact that some 1980 Lincoln pennies contain minting errors that make them incredibly rare and highly sought after. One of the most common and exciting errors to look for on the 1980 Lincoln penny is the double die variety. A double die error occurs when the coin is struck more than once, creating a doubled image of the details on the coin. This could mean a doubled date, such as the 1980 in the year, or even a doubled image of Lincoln's face. These double die errors are rare and make the coin much more valuable than a standard, run-of-the-mill penny. If you have a 1980 Lincoln penny with this error, you could be sitting on a highly valuable coin, but the double die error isn't the only thing that can make a 1980 penny worth a small fortune. Another error to watch out for is the repunched mint mark. During the minting process, sometimes the mint mark, which indicates where the coin was produced, could be improperly struck, causing a repunched effect. This is a rare but highly desirable variety among collectors because it's a unique mistake that only a few of these pennies possess. The 1980 penny's value skyrockets when these errors appear, and even without these rare mistakes, the condition of the coin is just as important. Over time, many of these pennies have been worn down through circulation. However, finding a 1980 penny in mint or near mint condition is a real treasure. Pennies that have been well preserved and remain free from wear and tear are worth significantly more. Coins that show little to no signs of use or handling are much rarer than you might think, and collectors are constantly on the lookout for these pristine examples. In fact, depending on the condition, a high-quality 1980 penny can be worth far more than its face value. Now, let's talk about the real value of this penny. You might be asking, how much can a 1980 Lincoln penny with these rare features and minting errors actually be worth? Hold on to your hats because some of these pennies can fetch an eye-popping price of $33,500 when sold to the right buyer. Yes, you read that correctly, $33,500 for a single 1980 Lincoln penny. That's a serious return on just one little coin. So, how can you tell if your 1980 penny is one of the valuable ones? Well, the first step is to carefully examine your penny under magnification. If you spot any signs of a doubled date or doubled features on Lincoln's portrait, you may have found a double die error. Similarly, check the mint mark for any signs of repunching. If you're unsure, it's always worth getting your coin professionally graded by a numismatic expert, as this can add significantly to its value. The 1980 Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a piece of history, and it's one that has the potential to grow in value over time. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the world of rare coins, this penny is a perfect example of how small details and minting errors can make a huge difference in a coin's worth. It's a reminder that even the most common-seeming coins can be hiding big surprises if you know what to look for. In conclusion, the 1980 Lincoln penny is an underrated gem in the world of coin collecting. Its value isn't just tied to its historical significance or its status as a widely circulated coin, it's the unique errors, condition, and the demand among collectors that make it worth so much more than you might expect. If you've got one of these pennies sitting in your collection or in a jar at home, it could be your lucky day. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the fascinating world of the 1980 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future discoveries. Keep searching through your coin collections, and who knows? You might just have a treasure worth thousands of dollars. Happy collecting, and I'll see you in the next video.